Hello there. Welcome back to another sixth grade math video. Today's focus will be on taking decimals and dividing them by whole numbers. Okay, here is our first example we're going to do. We're going to take the number 9.4 and we're going to divide it by 4. Okay, so first number always goes inside the division bracket. So I'm going to put 9.4 here, and second number goes on the outside. Now, here's something I like to do when I'm dividing a decimal number by a whole number that kind of helps me with decimal placement in my answer is before I even start dividing, what I do is I put the decimal for my answer up into the answer space right above where it is in the problem before I even start. That way I automatically know where that decimal is going to be, and I can just go ahead and divide using the standard algorithm as I normally would, and I don't even have to worry about the decimal. So my next step would be to figure out how many times 4 fits into 9. And I think it's going to fit in twice because I know that 4 times 2 or 2 times 4 is 8. So I'm going to put that 8 there and subtract those to get the number 1. Then I'm going to bring down the 4. So those are the steps I'm following: divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. If that doesn't seem familiar to you, if it's been a while since you've done division, I encourage you to go back and see some of my previous videos about dividing whole numbers. So now I need to figure out how many times 4 fits into 14. And if I know my multiplication facts, I know that 4, 8, 12. 12 would be the closest I could get, so that's going to be 3. 3 times 4 is 12, so I'm going to go ahead and put that here, and then subtract those two, and I end up with 2 left over. Now, here's a tricky thing. When you're dividing with decimals and getting a decimal answer, you can no longer have remainders. So this, in the past, would have been 2.3 with a remainder of 2. Instead, we have to keep going. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a 0 to the end of that remainder, and then we're going to keep dividing. How many times would 4 fit into 20? Well, I think it would fit in 5 times because 5 times 4 is exactly 20. And that's what I'm going to put here. And then I'm going to subtract that, and I have 0 left over. So when I get to the point where there are no more numbers to bring down and I don't have any remainders left, I know I'm finished. So the answer to this problem would be 2.35. Okay, here is our next example. We're going to take 251.1 and we're going to divide it by 9. So again, that first number is what goes inside the division bracket or the bear cave, or whatever you want to call it, the bird nest, anything like that. And the second number is what goes on the outside. Okay, so now I'm trying to figure out how many times 9 goes into 2, and it goes in 0 times. So I'm going to put a 0 up here. It's important to put a 0 or to put a placeholder there so that when we give the next digit of our answer, we're not worried about putting it in the wrong place value. Now, I forgot, but before I start dividing, I needed to put that decimal up into the answer space right above where it is in the problem. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so 9 does not fit into 2. So I could either do 0 times 9 and subtract it and get 2 left over, bring down the 5. Or I could skip those and just now look and see how many times I think 9 would fit into 25 instead of 2. 9 fits into 25 twice because I know 9 times 3 is 27, so that's a little too much. 9 times 2 would be 18, so that's what I'm going to put here. And then when I subtract that, I should get 7 left over. You may have to do a little regrouping because you can't take 8 away from 5. But if you're able to do the subtraction in your head, then you don't have to. But if you have to do some regrouping to figure out, that's not a problem. So then I'm going to bring down the 1. Now I have to figure out how many times 9 would fit into 71. Well, I know that 9 times 8 is 72. So that's close, but it's a little bit too much. It goes just past 71. So instead of that, I'm going to use 7. I'm going to go down 1. So that will give me 63 to put here. Okay, again, this is a subtraction that might require a little regrouping, but when you take 71 and you minus 63, you end up with 8. Again, if it's been a while since you've done this type of division and you want to see how it's done in more detail, check out some of my earlier videos about dividing with whole numbers. Okay, now I'm going to bring down this 1 here, and 9 fits into 81 exactly 9 times. So I'm going to go ahead and put up that 9 here. 9 times 9 is 81. And when I subtract it, I have 0 left over. So now, since there are no remainders and no more numbers to bring down, I know that I have completed this problem. And the decimal was already in the right place. I didn't even have to worry about it when I was dividing. So the final answer here would be 27.9. Okay, here is our next one. This one is 7,120.63 divided by 4. Okay, so again, the what goes in the bear cave, the bat cave, or the bird nest, or whatever you want to call it, is the first number. So 7,120.63 goes inside. And then on the outside goes the 4. Now, I might be writing a little bit smaller because this to me looks like it's going to be a bigger problem. We've got a bigger number to divide. So I'm just anticipating I might need some more room. So I'm writing a little bit smaller than I normally do. I'm going to go ahead and put that decimal up into the answer space. 4 fits into 7 one time. So 1 times 4 is 4. When I subtract that, I get 3 left over. Bring down the 1. 4 would fit into 31 7 times because that's 28. Then I subtract that, I get 3 left over. I'm going to bring down the 2. I know that 4 fits into 32 exactly 8 times. So 8 times 4 is 32. I'd get 0 left over. Now you might be going, oh, look, you have 0 left over. You have no remainder. You're done. But the problem is we still have numbers to bring down. So we are not quite done yet. Now I'm going to bring down this 0. And 4 fits into 0 0 times. So I'm going to put that 0 up here. Now I can either do 0 times 4 equals 0 and then subtract the zeros and end up with 0 again. Or I could just go ahead and bring down the next number. So there's a little shortcut you can take in that situation. 4 fits into 6 one time. So I'm going to put a 1 up here. That's going to give me 4. And I subtract that, I get 2 left over. Then I'm going to bring down the 3. And 4 would fit into 23 5 times. So that's going to give me 20 with 3 left over. Now here's a situation where I have no more numbers to bring down, but I still have a remainder. So I have to keep going until like I run out of either a remainder or numbers to bring down. So I'm going to add a 0 to the remainder and keep dividing. I know 4 fits into 30. I want to say 7 times, and that's going to give me 28. So I'm going to have to kind of move over here and rewrite 30 minus 28 and get 2 left over because I kind of ran out of room. So I moved it over to the side. Now I have to figure out, or I can't have a remainder still. So I'm going to have to add another 0 to this remainder and keep dividing. But I know that 4 fits into 20 exactly 5 times. So I think I am done here. So 4 times 5 is exactly 20. And when I subtract it, I get 0 left over. So now since I have no remainder and I have no more numbers to bring down, now I'm finally finished. The final answer here would be 1,780.1575. Okay, here is our next example. We're going to be taking the number 832.97 and dividing it by 2. So again, the first number goes inside 832.97 goes inside and the 2 goes on the outside. I'm going to put my decimal up into the answer space right above where it is in the problem before I even begin. Now I don't have to worry about it. It's just going to be there when I'm done. 2 fits into 8 4 times. So I'm going to put a 4 here and that's exactly 8. So when I subtract that, I get 0 left over. When I bring down the 3, 2 goes into 3 once. So 1 times 2 is 2. Subtract that, 1 left over. Bring down the 2 and making that 12. 2 goes into 12 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. Subtract that, 0 left over. So I keep getting 0 left over, but I still have numbers to bring down. So I'm not done yet. Got to bring down that 9. 2 fits into 9 4 times. So that's going to get a 4 here and an 8 here. Subtract that to get a 1. Now I'm going to have to bring down the 7. And 4 fits in, or sorry, not 4. 2 fits into 17. I want to say 8 times because that's going to give me 16. So I'm going to put an 8 here, a 16 here. When I subtract that, I get 1 left over. So I'm going to put that 1 over here because I kind of ran out of room. Now, even though I don't have any more numbers to bring down, I still have a remainder. So I'm not quite done yet. I'm going to have to add a 0 to that remainder and keep dividing. Well, 2 fits into 10 5 times. So I'm going to put that 5 up here and the 10 here and subtract it to get 0. So now I am finished because I have no more numbers to bring down and I have no remainder. Final answer here would be 416.485. Okay, here's our last example for today's video. Now, you may have noticed all the times I was adding 0 to the remainder and I had to keep going. You may have been wondering in your head, well, what happens if it just goes on and on and on and on? And that can happen sometimes. So sometimes you'll be asked to divide something, but you'll be asked to round your answer to the nearest blank, whatever place value they want you to round to. So that means once you get to one place value past the place value you're supposed to round to, you can stop because you already have enough digits to know what to round it to. So that's why I wanted to show you this one. So for this one, we're going to take the number 6,046, divide it by 6, and then we're going to round our answer to the nearest tenth. So I'm going to come over here and do 6,046 inside, divided by 6 on the outside, keeping in mind that I'm going to round it to the nearest tenth. You may have also noticed, wait a second, this number doesn't have a decimal. And that's true. You can also divide whole numbers by whole numbers and get decimal answers. The way that you do that is you add a decimal to the end of the number you're dividing, and then you put it up into the answer space right above where it is in the problem. So there's always a decimal at the end of every whole number. It's just not usually written. It's just kind of invisible there. So we're going to make it reappear so we can use it in our answer if we need it. Now 6 goes into 6 one time. 1 times 6 is 6. When I subtract that, I get 0 left over. So I still have to bring down this 0. And now 6 goes into 0 times. So I need to put that 0 up there to show that. Okay, now I can either do 0 times 6 equals 0, subtract that, have 0, bring down the 4, or I can just skip that and bring down the 4 here. Well, 6 fits into 4 0 times again, so that's not going to work. I'm going to have to put another 0 up there to represent that. Then I can bring down this 6. Now 6 does fit into 46. So we finally found a number it fits into. The question is how many times? Well, we know 6 times 8 is 48. So that's a little bit too much. So let's go with 6 times 7. And that would be 42. Okay. So when I subtract that, I get 4 left over. Okay, now here's the part that we have to be adding zeros because we have no more numbers to bring down, but we can't have a remainder. So I'm going to add a 0 to that remainder, and I'm going to have to keep going. Okay, so 6 times 7 is 42. That's a little bit too much, but 6 times 6 is 36, so that should be fine. So I'm going to put a 6 here, and that's going to be 36. And then when I do 40 minus 36, I end up with 4 left over. So I've got another remainder of 4. So here's where we kind of bring in the rounding. We know we're going to round to the nearest tenth. We already have a digit in our answer that's in the 10th place. But in order to round it to that place value, I need one more place value right here. So I know either to raise that 6 up to a 7 or leave it as a 6. I'm not sure yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going until I know what that digit is, and then I can stop. So we have to add a 0 to this 4 to keep going. 6 goes into 40, just like last time, 6 times. Okay, 6 times 6 is 36. And when we subtract that, we get 4 left over. So now we have enough digits in our answer to be able to round it to the nearest tenth. This is the 10th place, and to round it, I need to look at this digit to decide what I'm going to do with that. Since the number next to it is 5 or more, that means this gets raised up to a 7. So that's how I'm going to round it. Now everything to this side becomes a 0, so we're going to kind of scratch it off. So that means my final answer here is going to be 1007.7. So that's the rounded answer to the nearest tenth. And again, you may be asked to round it to different place values. Sometimes it'll be whole numbers. Sometimes it'll be hundredths or thousandths. So that's why you can stop once you get that number that you're rounding to, plus one more so you can see what it would round to. All right, you guys, we're going to stop here for today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next video.